Overview of just kind of really, what the game plan is. And if you just look at this, this is me from 2007, so this is a couple years ago. But we talked about this last week, and this was my heart rate zone. So if you look, kind of my resting heart rate was 58. And so I'm looking at this one that says Metabolic Map and Cardio C-Quence. So my resting heart rate was 58. You guys see that in the box here? And then 121, that's my training threshold. That's where I got to get into to start, having some sort of positive training effect. Okay? And we kind of talked about that last week, what that was. So I just want to kind of give you a visual. 146, that's the aerobic threshold, and that's pretty much where you would train and run a marathon if you were running a marathon or whatever. That's kind of the sweet spot we talk about in golf, where you hit the golf club and the thing just takes off. You're like, I didn't even swing. That's because you hit it in the sweet spot. So this is where it's kind of you have a mixture of fat and a mixture of sugar that you're burning. So so we want to burn more fat when we're training for marathons. And then we start getting into the SAP, which is now you can see I'm up at 171. Now you start doing anaerobic. So you're not using oxygen now. You're actually, then you start burning sugar, which is a very dangerous place to spend a lot of time in, because it will actually break your body down. Like, give you an example. I gave my wife one of the treadmill workouts that Stu had made for me, and she did it. She's like, I didn't even sweat. It was really not that hard of a workout. I'm doing this baby boot camp thing, and so they go for 45 minutes, just blast them in baby boot camp. But her instructor said, I want to try that. And the reality is they're going out there and they're blasting it in this high heart rate, very intense. That's not the purpose of movement. So when I say running, it's movement. You get in the right zone to move and to create, a positive outcome, if you will. Does that make sense? Kind of try to give you the
So
idea.
what does that mean when you're not when you don't sweat?
Well, I don't think it means anything.
Oh.
She's used to sweating at that high intense zone. For me, I was sweating, but for her, she's like, oh, this is easy. But she's just thinking, I want a hard, intense workout. A lot of these, they're not designed to be hard and intense. They're designed, you might feel like garbage, right? Harold, you come in the morning, you're like, I don't feel like moving. And then when we get done, you're like, wow, like you had that experience last week. You're like, wow, I feel good. That's you want to enter, you might feel terrible when you start. And when you're done, you're like, oh, I feel good. That knee thing that I had going on, it's actually feeling good. So that's kind of the metaphor. And we'll talk more about this, but I just want to give an overview. And you can see my ranges. If we go down, you got the map. You can see what my range is. You can see the map, which is 141 beats to 151. That's kind of a sweet spot. And then you got the SAP workout. You can see where I'm 151 to 171. And then over that is the anaerobic intensity training. We're not going to be spending any time in there. So, but if you look, kind of just as a general for workouts, and if we look at mobilizing fat, you got about a 5 to 7 minute, 17 to 15 minute warm up, and that much cool down too. So the whole thing is to start just mobilizing that fat really slow, train, and then come back down. And during that training, you could have some ups and downs, and we'll mix that in with you. But for the most part, it's nice, warm, slow. You're mobilizing fat, and then you're bringing it back down. So one of our friends, he hurt his leg. He would run, and Dr. Mike knows what I'm talking about. He would run, just super intense, run, and then wouldn't cool down. So you do that enough times, it breaks your body down. So that's we want to avoid that. We don't want injuries. I was doing the Portland Fit, and they were like, oh, it's all based on mileage. You got to get your 20 miles in. And had nothing to do with heart rate, had nothing to do with energy or effort level or how you feel. It was just about mileage. And I broke myself down. I like 8 years ago, I didn't complete a marathon because I was so broken down. So this program is amazing because it's not designed to break you down. It's actually designed to increase your energy and increase your health. So it's amazing. Once you kind of see it, I've been working with Stu for 3 years, and I learn more now than I've ever learned. So I'll just try to pass that on to you as much as I can. So if we look at during the week, so if we look at the bottom, there's a sample here. It's just kind of an overview, but sample, like on Monday you would do an aerobic workout, a MAP workout, which means it's very efficient, 20 to 45 minutes. So every day you're going to be doing something. And so it's not a lot of time. You have 20-minute workout, or if you have a little more time, you do 45 minutes with That doesn't include the cool down and the warm up. So, you're looking at maybe 30 minutes a day of some sort of movement. The next day, you could do a MAP, you could do a SAP, you could do a treadmill workout. So you're going to alternate MAPs and MAPs every day. Okay? And then, and it could be Sunday, it could be Monday, whatever. But there's going to be a longer run that you do. So so everything, you're moving your body 30 to 40 minutes daily, 20 to 40 minutes every day, and then on a 1 day a week, you pick based on your schedule, you do your longer run. That make sense? And so, if we just look at week 2, which would be, in July sometime, you might have a 1 hour workout. That's in this box up here, if you guys see. You might have a 1 hour workout. That'd be your long workout for the week. And as you get closer to the marathon, you start increasing your time. Make sense? So week 2, you'd have an hour and a half, or week 4, you'd have an hour and a half workout. So like week 2, you'd do an hour. The next week, you'd back off, so you get rest. 2 weeks, in week 4, you'd do a longer run. The next week, you'd back off. So you do this with your time. So when you get to the marathon, you're like there. So when you look at this, it's really, people think, oh, there's so much time involved. Not really. You just have a long run every week, and then you've got, 20 to 40 minutes of consistently, keeping your body in that zone. Does that make sense? You guys have any questions about that? And I just want to kind of give you an overview. So this week, what you would want to do is just kind of alternate MAP and MAP. And if you don't have a heart rate monitor, which some of you don't, and you'll get one, but a MAP zone would be an effort level, perceived exertion weight. That's what a RPE is, rate of perceived exertion. So perceived exertion would be, like breathing. If you're just rapidly breathing, that'd be more of an 8 or a 9. If you're just comfortably this is really easy, it's a 4 or 5 effort level, you're probably in a MAP zone. MAP's going to be a little bit more than that, but it's not where you're out of breath. Okay, so just so you know. So every other day, you would do a MAP. Every other day, you would do a MAP. Does that make sense? So here's what I recommend. This next week, you move every day 20 to 40 minutes, 5 to 7 minute warm up, train in that zone, come back down. Every day you move. And if you miss a day, that's okay. You missed, I would say at minimum 5, but if I noticed better benefits when I went daily. So I just started moving daily. And, don't stress out about it. If you're like, I can't really don't beat yourself up. It's really not that big of a deal if you miss 1 or 2 a week. So, 4 to 5 good ones a week, you're going to be doing fine.
So is a treadmill just as good as going outside?
Absolutely. Yep.
But they say it's a lot different.
Yeah, but you want to mix it up. I would throw, right now I'm doing outside treadmill, outside, so I've got 3 or 4 treadmill workouts a week and 3 or 4 outside workouts a week. So, mix it up. Yeah, it's all about movement. So does that make sense, you guys?
What would it cost me to go by the Y to use a treadmill then?
Say that again?
What would it cost you to go by the Y to use a treadmill a couple times a week?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. They've got different, plans available for you.
I got a treadmill that don't work right.
Yeah, you want one that works really good and that can go incline and decline. If you look here, this is July. So this, for example, in July, this is what I did 2 years ago. So in July, I did a combo 1. You can see at the very bottom here, it's an hour and a half. So I prefer to run on Sunday mornings early, get up at 4 or whatever, 5, whatever time you got to be with your family. So I would try to be done by 7. So if I was going to do a 3-hour run, I'd get up at 4, run from 4 to 7, and be home, be done. And later in the day, I'd have so much energy, I'd want to go and walk with my wife or do something else. You'd be surprised. You think this will wear you out, but if you train in the right zone, it actually creates more energy for you.